Hello everyone and welcome to today's online class for class 10. In our previous classes we studied about the reaction of metal with dilute acid and also with water. We are now going to talk about the oxide of metals. Now when metal reacts with oxygen, they produce oxides of metal. When they combine with oxygen, they produce oxides of that metal. In general, it is known as metal oxide. Now, the chemical formulas of metal oxide depends on the metal and its oxidation state. Like sodium, when reacts with oxide, it reacts with as Na plus and it reacts with O2 minus. O2 minus is the oxide. Ion of oxygen known as oxide. O2 minus is the ion of oxygen known as oxide. So when it is react with oxide, it produces Na2O. This is the oxide of sodium or sodium oxide. Similarly, when potassium reacts with oxide, it reacts as K plus. So the oxide of potassium that is being formed, the chemical formula is K2O, potassium oxide. Similarly, suppose zinc is react with oxide O2 minus, it reacts as Zn2 plus. As a result, the oxide of zinc that is being formed, the chemical reaction of the chemical formula of this one is ZnO, zinc oxide. Another example that we are going to take is the aluminium. Aluminium reacts with oxide as Al3 plus and it reacts with the oxide and formed Al2O3. This is the oxide of aluminium known as aluminium oxide. These are the few of the oxides of few of the metals. Now we are going to study about some of the characteristics of these metals. Some of the characteristics of these metal oxides. In nature, there are various kinds of oxide that can be found. There are acidic oxide, there are basic oxide, there are neutral oxide. How we are going to define them? Acidic oxides are those oxides, the aqueous solution of this kind of oxide will turn the blue litmus paper red. Basic oxides, on the other hand, those kind of oxides, the aqueous solution of which turns the red litmus paper blue. There is another type of oxide known as amphoteric oxide. Which shows both acidic and basic properties. We specifically are discussing about metal oxides. Metal oxides, the aqueous solution of metal oxides solution of metal oxides are basic in nature. Aqueous solution of metal oxides are predominantly, most of them are basic in nature. That is, they turn, the aqueous solution of these metal oxides turn red litmus paper blue. Most metal oxides are insoluble in water, but alkali metal oxides are soluble in water. Alkali metals like sodium, potassium are oxides of this sodium, potassium are soluble in nature. So when oxide of sodium Na2O is being dissolved in water, the reaction that will follow is NaOH. That is, sodium hydroxide is formed, which is basic in nature. That is the reason why the aqueous solution of Na2O is basic in nature and turns red litmus paper blue, because it forms sodium hydroxide, which is a base. That's why it is basic in nature. The aqueous solution of sodium hydroxide is basic in nature. And the similar reaction can also be observed when potassium oxide is being reacted with water or dissolved in water. It produces potassium hydroxide. This is also basic in nature, and as a result, aqueous solution of potassium hydroxide basic in nature because it produces a base, potassium hydroxide, which turn the red litmus paper blue. Now these two reactions, to balance this thing, the first one, sodium is present 2, I am going to multiply 2 with NaOH. To balance the oxygen, we are going to multiply, the oxygen is 2 in here, and this left hand side 2 oxygen is present, 1 in the Na2O and 1 in the H2, hydrogen is balanced. So balance the second one, we are going to similarly multiply 2 with KOH. This will give 2 potassium on the both side, 2 oxygen on the both side, and 2 hydrogen on the both side. Alkali metal oxides like Na2O, K2O, when dissolved in water, they produces sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide, respectively, both of which are basic in nature. As the solution turns red litmus paper blue.